When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. The screen is black, the text is white, and suddenly the word resistance turns blue. This is followed by the title of the film that I'm talking about today. Even in that, the numeric 2 is written with blue ink. I'm talking about Dhadak 2. This is FilmyFool, and I'm dying to tell you how much I loved this film. Stay tuned.
क्या हो जाएगा?
खरबूजा मर जाएगा.
Dhadak 2 is a spiritual sequel to Dhadak but does not have any linkages to the original. This one is in fact a remake of a Tamil film, Periyaram Perumal. I haven't seen the original, but it is extremely good, critically acclaimed and popular film, which I hope I will be able to watch soon just because of how much I loved Dhadak 2. Shazia Iqbal along with Rahul Badvelkar adapt this screenplay from the original for the Hindi viewing audience, and they do a splendid job of this because I do not know about the adaptation. I know about what I have seen on screen, and that is written so damn beautifully. Not only does Shazia do the adapted screenplay with Rahul, she is in fact the person behind the director's chair. This is her directorial debut, and oh man, what a debut, because she really has the chops for the big stage, and she shows that with so much flair, such minute understanding of the subject and how to handle her characters. It is not easy to make a film like this. We do not get too many films like this. This is a rare film in Indian cinema, period. And Shazia, the way she handles this, there isn't one dull moment throughout this film. A subject like this, which is so serious, a subject on discrimination, a subject on caste bias, and a love story behind it. It is a romantic drama, but an intense romantic drama. So it's very easy for anyone to fall into the trap of having scenes which are slightly long. And suddenly, when you have a few scenes like this coming up every now and then, the film starts to feel like a drag. This one has no such point at all. This flows beautifully from one scene to the next. And even though these are heavy, hard-hitting scenes at times, you still feel like you want to go on. And that is the beauty of the original film. That is the beauty with which Shazia and Rahul have adapted this. That is the magic and the understanding with which Shazia directs this. There is hard symbolism at play here as well. The blue ink is not just in the first quote or the title of the film, it is spread right across. And you see this when you go into Nilesh's colony, painted with blue walls. When you move into college, you have a student leader who's talking about using the pen as a sword, and yet his words are blue ink. And to top this all, this bigger than everything else, is the name of the lead protagonist, played so damn beautifully by Siddhant Chaturvedi. Siddhant plays Nilesh, and he plays it with so much heart that I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about what he's done in this film. He brings about the angst, the fear, the inhibitions, the joy, and the love of a Dalit boy so damn beautifully on screen. It's not easy to do. Siddhant goes into the skin of this character. He lives and breathes Nilesh. As an audience, you can feel each and every emotion. This entire setup is so damn good that you have Siddhant Chaturvedi doing this brilliantly, along with Shazia, who has this masterful understanding of the character of the subject, that within the first 5 minutes, you don't even realize as audience that you've already given your heart to Nilesh. You are rooting for him right from the first scene. And you realize this when the first day of college starts about 3 scenes in, and you have an attendance or a roll call or an introduction going on. And as the benches go on and each student stands and delivers an introduction, you get to see the nervousness in Nilesh, his hands not being able to manage the anxiety. And you as the audience share all of that with him. You are anxious for him because he is ashamed of what he has to stand up and say, because he knows what the room is going to think when he says his full name. And how that scene ends is another masterful example of writing.
एंड यो पूरा नाम नीलेश BLLB डिग्री घर से लेकर आए हो क्या बेटा?
तुम हिंदी मीडियम से हो?
हाँ
There are numerous scenes like this that I can go on and talk about. The scene right before this, when he meets Vidhi for the second time, and when Vidhi almost asks him to give a high five or a low five, and instead of using his entire hand, because he's so taken aback by this reaction or this gesture, that all he can do is just that, a tap with two fingers and move his hand away very quickly. These are subtleties that very few directors are able to bring out, and Shazia brings this out with so much ease. It is beautiful to watch. I do not want to go into scene after scene, which I can, and I would love to, but I want you guys to experience this film. It is a film that is worth watching. It is a film that is, yes, difficult, but then so is every good film that raises the question. So is every film that nudges you to think, to ponder, to react. If it asks you and questions you for your own behavior, it is a masterful film. And that is what Dhadak 2 does.
पर थोड़ी बहुत इंग्लिश आती है मुझे. ABCD के पहले भी तो एक जमाना होता होगा ना जहाँ पे लोग अपनी बातें कर पाते होंगे.
I urge you to watch this, but I'm going to go on and talk about all the other things that I loved in this film. Siddhant is brilliant, yes, start to finish, right till the last scene. He does not get a note wrong. And there is such a huge range of emotions and vulnerability that he brings about in front of you that your heart immediately goes out to him, and multiple times over. You want to stand with him. You want to take the brunt of what he's facing. That's the amount of love and care that you start to feel for Nilesh very, very quickly. The actor and the character that matches this foot for foot, note for note, reaction for reaction is Tripti Dimri, who plays Vidhi. It's almost a redemption arc for Tripti because she's been made fun of for a couple of commercial choices in the past and for her dance moves. In this, she does throw the acting chops out of the water for anyone else who wants to question it. And she also does shake a leg pretty well. Coming back to her acting skills, this is her zone. Every time she's found a well-written character, every time she's found a director who understands the character, who understands the world that they are building, she gets it spot on. This is Kala. This is Bulbul. This is Laila Majnu. She gets it bang on in each of these instances that I'm talking about, and she gets it bang on in Dhadak 2 as Vidhi. She is absolutely fantastic. While she does not get as much range to play with as Siddhant does, but what she gets is pretty meaty and she delivers beautifully.
तुम्हारी फेवरेट जगह कौन सी?
On top of this, you have this actor called Vipin Sharma. I'm gonna well up as I talk about him because in my household, when I have to tell somebody who Vipin Sharma is, I use the father of Ishan Nand Kishore Avasthi in Tare Zameen Par. And I'm sure everybody around gets immediately who the actor I'm talking about is. Vipin Sharma is such a chameleon. He can pull off everything from Nand Kishore Avasthi to Ehsan Qureshi in Wasipur. He is absolutely brilliant, criminally underrated here because he does not get lengthy roles. Even here, he gets like 3 scenes in the film, and 2 out of those 3, or almost 3 out of 3 scenes here, you cannot help but react to what he's doing on screen. It is unbelievable. The scene that I'm talking about, the one that's making it hard for me to go on right now, is the scene in college when he goes with Nilesh to meet the principal. And he has maybe a line and a half at the end of it. But it's not the words that he says, it's the way he says them and the pauses he takes that just hit you here. And the scene right after as well. Those 2 scenes, and Vipin Sharma is hats off.
वहाँ लड़ाई फिर भी भूख की है पर यहाँ हक की.
शेखर भाई पढ़ने आया हूँ, लड़ने नहीं.
Now on to a couple of things that I did not enjoy. My only quarrel with writing is the fact that we set up this aspect 2-3 times for Nilesh, that fighting does not mean that you have to pick up a sword. Fighting does not mean that you physically go and fight. There are other ways to fight. What's your fight? तुम्हारी लड़ाई क्या है? और तुम्हारी लड़ाई किसके साथ और किसके against है? And yet, after these 2-3 setups, nothing materializes. I'm not saying in a 2.5 hour film, every intro or every aspect of writing has to be taken to a logical end. If you are introducing a thought, It has to mean something, and especially in a film like Dhadak 2, where everything has meaning. There is nothing that is there for the sake of it. While this is a difficult film to watch, you will not see one scene and feel like this is overdone or this is done just to shock you. Because most of those things you are expecting. You are expecting Nilesh to have a hard time. You are expecting yourself to have a hard time watching somebody going through all of this. But the beauty of this writing is that every time you expect, it hits you with a surprise because you are not able to guess it right. Always this feeling of being on edge for a character that you've fallen for and you haven't even known. You start falling in love with Nilesh and you have no idea how, when that happened. It's only this feeling of anxiety, this pressure and this fear. It gets to you because something that's going to happen with the character is when you realize all of this. So when a film does all of this so well, it's only fair that I ask why that setup was done when nothing happened after that. And so that's my one very small quarrel with writing. The other one is with the music. While the title song is good and has this haunting ability, every time you get the music piece going, no matter what scene, you start to have an emotional reaction because it's very quickly this association is established with that background score, and hence every time that plays out, your heart starts to beat faster. It's a very nice feeling to have, but unfortunately there is nothing else beyond that in the music department. You have 5 odd composers coming together, but there is nothing too meaty here. Overall, I feel like the film would have done much better if it had a couple of more popular songs, and by that I do not mean Shazia needed to include 2 more songs in this film. No, I think the length was perfect. I just feel like it needed better songs, and songs which are able to take Dhadak to places it hasn't reached. All in all, guys, Dhadak 2 is absolutely worth watching. I know a lot of people fear this for the fact that it's going to be a difficult pill to swallow. I have watched it so much later only because of that reason. And the final nudge for me to go ahead and watch this was the terrible time I had with Coolie, that I really needed to watch something nice. And so I decided that yes, it might be a difficult watch, but I want to go and watch something good, something meaningful, something nice. And this is absolutely fantastic filmmaking. This is so tight in so many ways. Hats off to Shazia for this being a debut film. Loved her treatment of this film, her treatment of Nilesh, Vidhi, and all of this around. I loved Dhadak 2. I think I've established that by now. Please go ahead and watch it. If you have seen it, do recommend it to others around so that they can go ahead and watch it. And do tell me in the comments how you found it. What was your reaction to Dhadak 2? What was your reaction to some of the scenes that I've talked about? And any of your favorite scenes that come to mind. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment. Do share this with other friends and family. It is very important and will mean so much more if you all are with me on this journey. This is FilmyFool signing off. Have a good week, guys. Bye.